Delighted to welcome Mark Brennan from Fight on State to our set. Talk about Anthony Morelli. It's so tough being a quarterback at Penn State. It's tough being quarterback of the Steelers. It's tough being quarterback of the Eagles. There's no doubt about that. The conservative game plan, I know you've heard about it all week long. Everybody tried to draw it out in the press conference on Tuesday. Let's start with Morelli. And Mark, by the way, it's great having you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And where are you coming down on this right now?
A lot of people have been critical of Morelli, including me. I mean, I think if you go back and look at the tape of that game, there were instances where receivers were wide open. But given that, I think you have to give the kid an opportunity to get some things done. They were running so often on first and second down early in that game that I think he was put into predictable situations where he was passing, and Michigan knew what was coming.
And Michigan obviously exploited it. I think the big thing last week, and I've said this on the radio and here, is the fact that this play right here meant Michigan can play with a lead the whole day. And the freshmen, they could keep him in a box.
Kept him in a box. The sad thing about that play, we had 5 people to block 5. If you can't protect. Here, of course, he missed. Quarterback's going to miss at times. He should make that throw, okay? But again, I can't blame Morelli. Okay, here we got a drop pass, okay? I just don't think we have an identity on offense. I don't know whether we really feel strongly that we can run the ball, and I think Joe really wants to run the ball. I don't know if he has as much confidence in the passing game as we do, because the strength of this team, without a question, is those skilled people.
Yeah.
They may be young in age, but those guys been here for 3 years solid, all these kids.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, if you look at the big games that Penn State's been in the last couple of years, talking about Ohio State last year, Michigan, Wisconsin, Tennessee, and Michigan this year, the offense has scored a total of 2 touchdowns. Now, there have been some field goals thrown in there, but that's telling me that the coaching staff's not necessarily giving these guys the opportunity to do what they need to do to score. They have the skill position players. You're right, Kenny. I mean, they have the guys to get it done. I just don't think you can try to smash it down everybody's throat and play conservative in these big games like this every time.
Well, today is a big game. There's no doubt about it. Now, are they going to be conservative? I mean, they look conservative, but, you know, every time you look, he's saying, we threw 50% of the time last week. I'm talking about Coach Paterno, but...
Let me tell you something, and I never thought I'd see this, but I was fortunate enough to play a little bit of ball, and when I had a chance to play with the New England Patriots and while coaching with the Steelers, I saw Tom Brady pick up a ball and throw it almost 35 times in a row, okay? And then they went to the run. Each week is different. You don't know what you have to do. But the strength of this team, okay, and the kids that have paid the price is from the quarterback to the receivers. We got great tight ends. We got as good as talent as anybody in the country.
Yeah, use it.
Exactly. I don't care if we have to throw it every down. To me, they deserve it because they put their time in, okay? They really deserve it. They deserve an opportunity to see. If they can't do it, we're wrong. But give them a chance.
Well, I don't buy that 50-50 breakdown. I mean, it ended up being a 50-50 breakdown, but 9 of those passes were in the last 5 minutes of the game when Penn State was scrambling, trying to get back into it. So you can talk about 50-50 breakdown, but when that game was on the line, when it was tight, they were running more often than they were passing.
Well, and I think that, you know, fielding calls all week myself, radio-wise, is the, conservative, and they seem to really button up on the road, Mark. And, I mean, they've got to just kind of open this up a little bit.
Well, now today you're looking at a situation where Illinois ranks 3rd in the Big Ten in rushing defense. This is a great rushing defense team. They have terrific linebackers, and they're 9th in the Big Ten in pass defense. It's a perfect example of a game where I think you have to set up the run with the pass. Let's see if they do it. Let's see if they learn their lesson. This isn't your father's Illinois team that used to roll over for everybody. They have a good defense, talented offensive players, and you better bring it, and you better bring a good game plan if you hope to compete out there.
Yeah, and to me, I think this is one of the tougher venues in the Big Ten, especially when the wind is blowing, which is going to make it tough on the passing game a little bit. I got to get into Austin Scott with you. He was a must-get coming out of Parkland High School.
Yeah.
It has just been an up-and-down career for this guy. And, they're going to have to go Kinlaw right now, in my opinion.
He's Exhibit A, Jed, of a guy who came in so heavily heralded, and I don't think he took football in school seriously early in his career. Once he decided that he knew what he had to do, I mean, just get his head into the game on and off the field, he started being hit by the injury bug. And then a guy named Tony Hunt kind of emerges, and Austin Scott ends up behind the 8 ball. Now he's finally getting his chance. He just hasn't carried that much, and he can't hold on to the football. You guys were talking about it earlier. 4 lost fumbles this year, on 57 carries. You compare that to what a Hart has done, I just don't know how you could stick with him. I know Joe's saying all the right things. I don't know how you could stick with a guy who puts it on the turf that often.
I don't think it's fair. I mean, the only reason why I'm saying I like what Coach Paterno's doing, sticking with the young man, give him an opportunity, but when it hurts everybody else on the team, that's when you have to say, look, I care about you, but it's not just about Austin Scott. It's about Penn State football, the whole team, the Penn State nation, all of us sitting up here that care. We're not down on Austin Scott, but the fact is the kid has put the ball on the ground too consistently. He shouldn't have an opportunity because he's hurting other people.
Well, I think Kinlaw's been playing much better. I mean, before this year, he was really an east-west runner, and I was impressed against Michigan how he started taking things north and south. He had a tough fourth down run that I was really impressed with, able to pound out those tough yardage. He hasn't had the negative yard carries that he had earlier in his career. So I've been impressed by Kinlaw, so I think everything points to that he ought to be the guy.
No doubt. We're going to look forward to 2007 starting at noon today with Illinois. Mark Brennan stays with us. The Penn State Tailgate. You're in the center of it all on WHVL TV here at State College. What does Joe Paterno think about the rest of the year?